The throne room of the Zorathian Empire was a sight to behold. Towering crystalline spires reached toward the ceiling, refracting the soft golden light that emanated from floating orbs. The air was thick with the scent of exotic spices and the hum of advanced technology. At the center of it all sat Queen Xalara, the undisputed ruler of the Zorathian Dominion. Her iridescent scales shimmered with every movement, and her piercing violet eyes radiated authority. She was a being of unparalleled beauty and power, a queen who had never known defeat. Before her stood Captain Elias Grant, the lone human representative of Earth. His rugged features were a stark contrast to the sleek, elegant design of the throne room. His uniform was torn, his face bruised, and his hands bound by energy cuffs. Yet, despite his battered appearance, his posture was defiant. His eyes locked onto the queen's with an intensity that unnerved even her most seasoned guards. "You stand before me, human," Queen Xalara began, her voice echoing with a melodic yet commanding tone, "as the last hope of your pitiful species. Your fleet lies in ruins, your colonies have fallen, and your leaders have begged for mercy. Yet you persist. Why?" Elias smirked, a gesture that seemed out of place in such a dire situation. "Begged for mercy. That's not how I remember it. Last I checked, we were still standing." The queen's eyes narrowed. "Your defiance is amusing but futile. I offer you one final chance to surrender. Kneel before me, pledge your loyalty to the Zorathian Dominion, and I may yet spare your people." The room fell silent as all eyes turned to Elias. The Zorathian nobles and warriors watched with a mix of curiosity and disdain, eager to see the human humbled. But Elias didn't kneel. Instead, he straightened his back and took a step forward, his voice steady and unwavering. "I'll make you a counteroffer," he said, his tone calm but laced with steel. "Release my people, withdraw your forces from Earth, and leave us in peace. Do that, and I won't have to destroy you." The throne room erupted in laughter. The idea of a single human bound and beaten, threatening the mightiest empire in the galaxy was absurd. Even Queen Xalara allowed herself a small, condescending smile. "You amuse me, human," she said, leaning forward on her throne. "But your bravado is misplaced. You have no fleet, no weapons, no allies. What could you possibly do to harm me?" Elias's smirk widened. "You're right. I don't have a fleet or weapons. But I do have one thing you don't." "And what is that?" the queen asked, her curiosity piqued. "A plan." Before anyone could react, Elias raised his bound hands and pressed a hidden button on his wrist device. The energy cuffs shattered, and a holographic projection erupted from the device, displaying a map of the Zorathian Empire's core systems. Red markers blinked ominously, indicating targets that had been marked for destruction. Queen Xalara's smile faded. "What is this?" she demanded, her voice tinged with unease. "This," Elias said, "is the result of months of reconnaissance and sabotage. While you were busy conquering our outer colonies, my team infiltrated your empire. We planted explosives on your key infrastructure. Your shipyards, your power grids, your communication hubs. And right now, those explosives are counting down." The room erupted in chaos. Nobles shouted, guards raised their weapons, and the queen's composure faltered for the first time. "You're bluffing," she said, though her voice lacked its usual confidence. "Am I?" Elias asked, his tone cold. "You have 5 minutes to decide. Withdraw your forces and release my people, or watch your empire burn." Queen Xalara's mind raced. She had faced countless enemies in her reign, but none had ever dared to strike at the heart of her empire. The human's audacity was unprecedented, and for the first time in her life, she felt a flicker of doubt. "You would sacrifice yourself to destroy us?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Elias met her gaze without flinching. "If that's what it takes to protect my people, then yes. But it doesn't have to end that way. The choice is yours." The queen stared at him, her violet eyes searching for any sign of deception. But Elias's resolve was unshakable. He was willing to die for his people, and that realization sent a shiver down her spine. "Guards," she said, her voice trembling with barely contained rage. "Stand down." The room fell silent once more as the guards lowered their weapons. The nobles looked on in stunned silence, unable to comprehend what was happening. "You win, human," Queen Xalara said, her voice heavy with defeat. "I will withdraw my forces and release your people. But know this, you have made a powerful enemy today." Elias nodded, his expression grim. "And you've made a powerful ally, if you're willing to accept it." The queen's eyes widened in surprise. "An ally? After all that has transpired? We're not so different, you and I," Elias said. "We both want what's best for our people. But conquest and destruction aren't the answer. There's a better way, and I'm willing to show it to you, if you're willing to listen." For a long moment, Queen Xalara said nothing. The weight of Elias's words hung in the air, challenging everything she had ever known. Finally she nodded, a small but genuine smile playing on her lips. "Very well, Captain Grant," she said. "I will hear your proposal. But know this, if you betray me, I will not hesitate to destroy you." "Fair enough," Elias replied, extending his hand. "Shall we begin?" The queen hesitated for a moment before taking his hand, her scales brushing against his rough skin. It was a small gesture, but one that marked the beginning of a new era, an era of cooperation and understanding between two species that had once been bitter enemies. As the two leaders walked out of the throne room side by side, the Zorathian nobles and warriors watched in stunned silence. The proud alien queen had expected surrender, but the humans' response had left her, and the entire empire shocked. And in that moment the galaxy changed forever. Epilogue. The alliance between Earth and the Zorathian Dominion was not without its challenges. Old wounds ran deep, and trust was hard to come by. But under the leadership of Captain Elias Grant and Queen Xalara, the two species worked together to build a future based on mutual respect and cooperation. The explosives that Elias had threatened to detonate were never activated. Instead, they were dismantled and repurposed for construction projects, symbolizing the transition from conflict to collaboration. Over time, the Zorathian Empire became a beacon of peace and prosperity, its once proud queen now a champion of unity. As for Elias, he became a legend, a man who had faced down an empire and emerged victorious, not through violence, but through courage and compassion. His name was etched into the annals of history, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. And so, the galaxy moved forward, united by the actions of a single human who had dared to defy the odds and change the course of history. The proud alien queen had expected his surrender, but the human's response had left her, and the entire universe shocked. And for that they were all the better.